Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the January 2021 Energetic Insights. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Depika Mystery, and I'm an intuitive guide, energy healer, coach, and a consultant. It's been over a year now that I've been sharing these energetic insights on a month-by-month basis, and it's really geared up for those of you guys that are becoming more consciously aware of your intuitive and energetic abilities and are looking for some practical guidance to help you to navigate your way through. So if that sounds like you, welcome, you're here at the right place. How are you guys finding 2021? How was December for you? Oh, golly gosh, was the energy wild and intense in December? I don't know whether you felt it or not. I know some of you that are more sensitive would have felt it really, really intensely, especially between the 12th of the 12th and the 21st of December. There was a massive shift in energy there. And the only way that I could describe it was like it was a wave that came from the behind you through your back of your heart, through the front of your heart. That's the best way that I can actually explain it. And it was such an incredibly powerful month. And the effects of that shift in energy is going to continue in January, February, and a bit in March, but especially within the next 2 months. I think many of us are going to really, really feel that shift in our own kind of world, in our energy as well. So, and I also feel that I got one other little bit for this year, which was in March. I feel there's going to be a turning point in March as well. So, and it feels like it's going to be a decision time. So it could be like a personal decision, a collective decision, an energetic decision. What exactly it is, I think it's going to mean something different for each and every one of us. So before I go into the energies for December and January, I'm going to recap on December, but one of the things that kept coming up throughout January was this thing to kind of remember, and it could just be because of the fact that over the Christmas period I watch a lot of Pixar movies and Disney movies, so I think I still might be carrying some of the energy from that. But those of you guys that have watched Frozen 2, there is a song called Show Yourself, and I'm just going to read out some of those lyrics. And I think that whatever you go through in 2021, bear in mind, most of us are kind of feeling, oh, 2020 is done and over and dusted, let's move on with 2021. We are still in this transformational phase. So I'm going to read out these lyrics so that if anything you take away from these insights, you take away those lyrics, and it's a great reminder of what's going on energetically, why we're going through it, and what it's actually helping us with. So the lyrics are: show yourself, step into the power, grow yourself into something new. You are the one you've been waiting for. So I'll repeat that: show yourself, step into the power, grow yourself into something new. You are the one you've been waiting for. So if out of anything, that's all that you remember for the energies for the entire 2021, keep hold of that, because it's going to be, the energies are going to be a guiding force to help you to do just that. Okay, so let's take a revisit and a recap of December before moving on to all the themes for January. So in December, the 4 themes were Judgment Day, rabbit holes, and I know, oh my goodness, I got some of the most funniest messages for this theme. Many people messaged and said, oh, I watched the insights, but I thought, oh, the rabbit holes, that's got nothing to do with me, or yeah, that doesn't really make any sense. And then a couple of days later, they then found that actually they found themselves in those rabbit holes. And if some of you guys are still experiencing this rabbit hole effect, the key thing is to not to fight it, as I think I mentioned in December. And if you need to, throw yourself a pity party and do it consciously. I think many of us tend to have pity parties, but do it very unconsciously or want people to join in. Just throw it for yourself, with yourself and all the various different aspects of yourself, and just have that party. And what that will do will help you to kind of move the energy that needs to be moved, move the emotions that have been suppressed, that needs to come out, And that process of throwing yourself a pity party, you're kind of giving yourself a permission to kind of let all of that out. So make sure you do that if you're still experiencing those rabbit holes. And then the last two themes that were there in this December, more than one perspective. And if you're still struggling with this, go and check out, there's a really powerful exercise in that just to help you see it in a very simplistic view, but also helps you see what's going on in the world and why having just understanding that there is more than one perspective will bring you a lot more peace and a lot more calm. And then the final theme there was self-love and acceptance. And as I said before, we can never have enough. There's so much love out there for us. I think it's so important to continue to develop and grow in that space of a self-love practice, a self-acceptance practice, and there is just so much love out there, and there's so much we can learn to love and accept within ourselves and around us. So let's park that December and let's move on to the first theme for January. So I think this one also has like a Disney theme to it, a little bit, Disney Pixar theme. So this one, it was really interesting. What it's called is Waves of Change. And what I was shown by my guides was this big wave, like this massive wave. And I think you can probably relate this and think about the movie Moana and the ocean and how Moana works with the ocean. So what I saw here was this huge wave kind of coming up from behind us, picking us up, lifting us up. And by lifting us up in the way that it's lifting us up, it's helping us expose our shadows, our inner demons, the emotions that we've suppressed, the grief that's been hidden and buried, whether we've, sometimes with grief, we think that we've dealt with it, we've taken the time, we've gone through the process, but sometimes grief also gets stuck on a cellular level within our body, and that often doesn't get expressed because there's a different way of expressing it, and often it's about shaking it out through your body, which is the best way that I can explain it. So that's a really powerful one. And also there's the other thing that this wave is doing is really kind of yanking up and pulling out any of the ancestral clearing or the traumas that are there that needs to be cleared and healed. And there's a collective clearing going on with these big waves. So what these big waves really represents is like a cleansing, a clearing. And with all clearings and cleansing, it's not like none of us are kind of like whoop-de-doo when we're going through it, because it's really, really intense, and it takes us to some of our deepest and darkest places. So it can be a little bit, what's the word? Not scary, but daunting is the best way I can explain it. And we tend to find our ways pushing that away. So what happens, we end up fighting the waves, and when we fight the waves, what happens, they only get stronger and heavier and bigger. So the key thing here is to find a way to move with the wave, knowing that it's temporary, that it's actually helping you, and what you really want is to come out at the other, what you're really looking for and what you want is on the other side. So it's allowing yourself to process it without bypassing. And I think many of us are really great at bypassing because our ego would want to take control, and it will come up with another narrative to say that you've done the work. But it's actually not about doing the work. It's about being with the waves of change, just being with it, letting it be your guiding force, letting it clear your path, and trusting in its own wisdom without interfering with it. And I think as you kind of do that, it's almost like it will open up your heart, right? And by opening up your heart, you'll find this deeper connection with yourself and what you've been seeking for, and what you've come here to be and do in this particular time. So if you want some more insights onto this, go ahead and watch Moana and have a look at the final theme, and I've forgotten the name of the goddess there, the volcanic goddess there. And when Moana kind of opens up the ocean and restores the heart, Te Fiti, I think. So watch that scene and listen to the lyrics of the song, because there's a really powerful meaning in that. And everything that we're going through for the waves of change is really about connecting us to our hearts and opening our heart center so we can operate from that place. So I hope that one makes sense. Please do comment below and go ahead and watch Moana. So the second theme for this month, which is interesting, I got some really interesting images this month. So it's called What Are You Feeding? What are you feeding? And I'm going to start with the image that I got. So basically I got this image where there's this big wooden door. And imagine that door is a door to a room that's within you, okay? So as you go ahead and open that door, you see this long wooden table and loads of wooden chairs. And that's all you can actually see in that moment, right? And seated at the tables are different aspects of yourself, right? The different aspects that represents a particular type of belief system that you have within yourself, or belief that you have, right? Your behaviors, your narratives, your fears, your judgments, things that bring you joy, laughter, and things that make you bored. So seated at the table is all those things that represents you, right? And the key thing here is, if you just take a moment and imagine that you've opened this door, and as you open this door, you've got this big table, and there's all these aspects of yourself that you feed, right? Just take a moment to observe that room and who's seated at that table, and take note of what you are feeding. Which aspects of yourself are you feeding? Are you feeding fear more than love? Or are you feeding love more than fear? And the key thing about this is that whatever you feed, whatever you are feeding the most, you create it. So let me rephrase it. Whatever you are feeding the most, you manifest it. The manifestation energy is super, 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 super fast, right? Many of you guys may have heard this term that time is an illusion. And what's happened is that the density on the planet is not as dense as it used to be. So things are moving really, really fast at the moment. And that's reminded me of another point. And just to take a break from the theme too, and I'll come back to that. One of the key things for the whole of 2021 is that there's going to be this rhythm, and this rhythm's going to be one of quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow, which means that things are going to be happening really, really fast. And in the slowness, it's not actually slow, it's almost like giving you some breathing space and some breathing room. So you're going to find there's going to be a brand new rhythm to 2021. It's not going to be like 2020, but it's not going to be like the other years, and it's going to be something that, again, we have never experienced before. So I think that's the key thing to kind of bear in mind. So let's come back to theme 2. So coming back to, just bearing in mind, and that's why the quick, slow kind of relates to the manifestation energy. It's happening really fast. And the reason why it's happening really fast is almost like the density that we've been living in before has become lighter. So the lighter it is, the quicker the things that get manifested. So going back to the table, here's a little exercise that you can do. Have a look at the table and just tune into the various different aspects of yourself, your beliefs, your behaviors and your narratives, your emotions, your thought forms, and just zoom in on that part of you that's seeking the most attention, and then zoom in on that part of you that's quietly waiting for you to notice it. And then zoom in on that part of you that you are feeding the most. And then finally zoom in that part of you that you're not feeding at all. And just allow yourself to go through this exercise just so that you know, and what this is going to do is give you the awareness of what you're creating, what you're likely to create. Okay? And just remember, what you feed grows stronger, and what you don't feed gets weaker. So the third theme is called Harness Your Creative Potential. And This is so incredible because I think throughout 2021 there's going to be this upsurge in creative energy, and this month it's pretty strong. So the key thing here to remember is that you are a creator and you have the power to create your life experiences. So that is a really key thing to remember this month, you know. And this is really about creative energy is really about raising your awareness around, around your victim consciousness, your heart energy, your ego's expectations, the perceptions that you have, the judgments you have, the things and people that you blame, and then also becoming aware of what different types of realities are you living in. So many of us have a fantasy world that we live in, but at the moment, if you take a step back, you'll be able to see that there's more than one reality. Which reality are you creating? Which reality are you choosing to be in? And I've got a set of questions here that will help you to just get clear on really harnessing your creative potential, because you are a creative being. We are all creative beings. Our natural state is to create. And one of the key things, one of the things I also got for this is, if you can just focus on this image that I got, which is one of a landscape artist that is standing there with its paints, with a canvas and a landscape in front of them. And basically they can either paint what's exactly in front of them, or they can paint whatever they can see and feel and sense and taste and hear, right? So it's also using all of those different types of all our I've forgotten the word for it, all of our senses basically. So, and if there were more than one landscape artist painting the same landscape, they're all going to see it in a different way. So I think the key thing here is that you are creating something and you are a creator. And so when the more you can get clear on what it is that you want to create and why you want to create it, it will just help you again, because the manifestation energy is so powerful this month. The more clear you get on what you want to create, the easier it will become for you to kind of create that. So here's some questions. What do you want to create? What energy do you want to create from? And what energy do you want to share? And what energy do you want to consume more of? What kind of energy do you want more of in your life? And think about, and the ways to kind of, some of you guys are creative writers, so it may be easier for you to kind of, write this out and journal about it. For some of you guys that won't work, so painting is another great way. Drawing, music, dancing, and sometimes just grounding and meditating will help you to tap in to what it is that you want to create. And one of the last things is, you can use this to really see where you might be getting stressed out in your life, right? And then working backwards to say, okay, I'm feeling stressed and anxious in my life. In what ways am I creating this? In what ways am I manifesting this? Okay, so not everything you're creating, because there are some things that are out of your control, but it will just give you a different perspective and a different dynamic to kind of explore. So yeah, it's a really powerful month for creativity. And so the fourth and final theme is called expectations. Let them go. And truth be told, we all have expectations. For many of us, we know what they are. And for most of us, some of us, we don't even know what they are. We don't even think that we have expectations. But what is definitely true is that each and every one of us will have some sort of hidden and unspoken expectations. And those expectations could be on ourselves, on other people, or the world around us. And often when they don't come into fruition, it affects us deeply. It affects our emotions, it affects our well-being, it affects our health as well. So this is a great opportunity this month to get really crystal clear on what are your expectations of yourself, of other people, the world around you, and what are your unconscious, unspoken, hidden expectations of yourself, other people around you, and the world around you. By getting revealing, getting into it and understanding it and revealing the things that have been hidden, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to actually then do something about it, to change it. And because there's such a great creative force and a manifestation energy that's coming through this month, that the clear you can get on these expectations, you can either choose to keep them if they're serving you in a particular way, or let them go. And I think for some of these expectations, you're gonna when you let them go, you'll invite more peace and more calmness in them. When we keep hold of them, it's what we're kind of saying is that it's another way of kind of controlling ourselves or the people and the environment around us. So I've got some tools here that will help you to really go into and understand what your expectations are. Okay, so the first question to ask yourself: what are my expectations? And you can expand that to say, what are my hidden unconscious expectations? And you can change it again, and what are my conscious expectations on myself, on other people, and the world around me? And then for each of those expectations you list out, go through each of them and ask yourself, how do they serve me? What do I get from having these expectations? How do they protect me? There's a couple of questions in there, And how do they hold me back? How do they hinder me? So again, for each of those expectations you've listed, just go through them and say how they hinder you and hold you back. And sometimes with expectations, it's also about protecting ourselves as well. So ask yourself, what do they protect? What does the expectation protect? And then just go through the exercise and see what kind of comes out. And the more, I think many of us will feel really ashamed that we have those expectations. And if you find yourself feeling shamed about that, just let that go as well, and just recognize, oh, I'm a bit ashamed of myself that I have these expectations. It's not really realistic, it's a bit childish, whatever it is. Just acknowledge the shame and just write that out, and then you can burn it or let that go. So I hope that exercise helped you and you've enjoyed the first insights for 2021. If you have enjoyed that, then please do go ahead and share this with your loved ones, your family, your friends, your colleagues. Drop me a comment below and give me a thumbs up if you're watching it on YouTube, or a like or some love. I really appreciate that. And then finally, this month there are going to be 2 energetic alignment sessions, and because this video is coming out a little bit later, some of you guys might not catch the first one. The first one is called Reset, and that's happening on the 3rd of January, which is in 2 days time basically, and it's basically about setting intentions, releasing the energies from 2020 and aligning yourself with the energies from 2021. So that's happening on the 3rd, and then there's going to be another one taking place on the 31st of January. The theme is yet to be determined, but all of that will be up and out for you from the 6th of January. So thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful first month of 2021. All right, take care. Bye for now.